So the first thing that I realised during that 5 minutes was that I made the classic mistake of forgetting to introduce myself at the beginning, so I apologise. For anyone who doesn't know who I am, I'm Claire Parker, I'm the Chief Officer of our 5 CCGs. And I also forgot to mention that we're trying to get people to wear name badges this week. So we've got some stickers here for people to use, but so just to encourage people to talk to people they haven't normally spoken to, although those people you say hello to every day, but you don't know what their name is. If we all wear stickers by the end of the week, we'll know who those people are. So I just wanted to say. Sorry? What's that? What was that Ealing technique? You all know yourselves in Ealing, excellent. Well, do you know one over here as well? Oh, I see you waving. Excellent. Well done. Very good. No, very good. I'm going to come to reading first. Right, I'm going to come to reading first. Do you want 2 or 3 people in the room at Ealing? Can we put the Ealing up on the screen? Sorry, where's Andrew gone?
He's here.
Oh, no, not this one. No. Okay. Do you know how to change who I'm talking to on the screen? Yeah, we will have a go. Okay, so Ealing, do you want to just 2 or 3 people feedback? You know how you're feeling and what you're hoping to get out of the week.
Okay.
Come on, Catherine, pick on someone.
Oh no! I'm not sure what we're going to get out of the week. Meeting.
What was that? Something about meetings that broke up a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to get all that done and not so many meetings.
Not so many meetings, yeah. That's a good thing, I assume. Yeah.
Anything else?
Just do something different.
Something different now?
Do something different. Yeah, excellent.
Do empower us to question each meeting that we do have and say, could it be shorter, could it be less frequent, do we need to meet, or could we be running whatever? And it actually carries on.
Hear that?
Yeah, it's excellent. So for each meeting that we do normally have, challenge why we have it. Do we need to have it that often? Does it need to be that long? What's the reason for it? Yeah, I think that's a really important thing to do. We have loads of meetings here.
And then follow through, so every time we have something this week, follow that through ongoing. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, and follow that through. Excellent. Brilliant, thank you. Right, should we go to Hounslow? Sue, who are you going to pick on in Hounslow to feedback?
I'm not going to pick on anybody. Somebody's going to volunteer.
Excellent.
From your conversations? I'll do it, lovely.
So we were talking to the team that does all the analytical work, which we didn't realise how complicated it was. So I think one of the decisions is instead of emailing someone in the office, you have to go and talk to them. So you have to get up, walk, and go talk to the person instead of emailing them.
Fantastic. Does everyone in the room here hear that? And everyone in the room hear that? Get up and walk and talk to somebody. I love it. And I think that's right, particularly with things like analytical stuff. I'm always conscious of that in finance, that actually sometimes what you need is quite complicated and you need to talk to the person for them to understand what you need and why you need it so that they can then pull out the right information. Excellent. That's a really good one. Anything else from Hounslow? Big ringing gong.
Yeah, got something else to say?
It's more also changing the actual month end. That you've obviously just got over year end now, and we're back onto month end again. So somehow we need to kind of change the actual approach and the timetable towards it. Not make it any easier, but at least try and make it more doable, so to speak.
So did you hear that above our drilling and our banging?
Yes, so for those of you who don't visit Sovereign Court often, they're building flats on the floors above the offices, and so you get constant drilling and banging, and it's an absolute nightmare. So well done for the Hounslow team struggling through that. But yes, I did hear. So talking about month end and year end, and actually about the need to do things differently at month end to make things more efficient and to then help in the year end processes. I think was the broad theme there. Excellent, yes. Thoroughly agree with my old finance hat on. And that's everybody has to help with that as well, that's not just finance. Okay, excellent. And if we come in the room here, who wants to be brave and say what they were talking about? Come on, you were really noisy while you were talking. Yes, Elizabeth.
So I was talking to my colleague Lavinia, who's just trying to destroy the land. Always useful to get perspectives of somebody coming in new. And we were talking about what is the cycle anyway. And we were talking about the existence. Once upon a time we used to talk about the commissioning cycle. The importance of everyone sticking to one cycle. This was at the heart of the work Imperial did. There's no
People recognise people in the healing.
Okay, we'll come to that point in a minute. That's very good. Elizabeth's just talking. I'll feedback what Elizabeth says. You can hear it in a minute.
Somebody new, just having that core cycle that everyone's adhering to, working through the year would be really valuable.
Yeah, excellent. So what Elizabeth was just saying, she's talking to Lavinia, who's just, where did you say you came from?
I came from Imperial.
From Imperial, excellent. And she was asking us, what is the cycle that we're trying to break? And pointing out that actually we don't have a sort of single cycle. We're talking about the commissioning cycle that we used to have, and actually do people know what happens during the course of a year, and how we're working and what we need to be doing when, and so on. So actually having a common set of processes and a core cycle for the year that people know and understand would be really helpful for new people joining the organisation. And I love that question, do people in house they recognise the people in Ealing and vice versa? I would hope by the end of the week you might have actually gone and visited somewhere new and you'll get to know people better. But excellent question. Right, should we take one more in the room here? I think Daniela, did you have that?
Yes, what I'm torn, what we discussed was, what about tidying up our desks?
Tidying up desks. Excellent.
So whatever we took out, maybe it's what's not important, and what we decide to keep is what we really should hold on to. Do you understand that?
Excellent. So chuck out what's not important, hold on what is important. I think that's really good. I try and clear my desk at the end of each week, because I just find coming in on a Monday with my desk chaotic. My desk mirrors kind of where I am. The more chaotic my desk, the worse the week is that I'm having. And you feel so much calmer when your desk is clear, is what I always find. So yes, excellent idea. Right, thank you all very much. So just moving on. Button. So the concept of breaking the cycle is something that I've stolen from the Acute Trust. So again, so people in performance and contracting will be familiar with it. And it's something that they use, particularly around A&E performance, as a way where they've got an area that's failing and they're not delivering the target and haven't been doing so for a long period of time. They have what they call a breaking the cycle week. And what they do is they cancel all day-to-day activities, so even board meetings and things get cancelled, and all of the executives go and walk the floor and help staff and be visible in the organisation and help to unblock things and make decisions when decisions are needed to be made. Staff in back office functions like finance get out of the finance department and go and act as runners on the wards and things. And basically everyone is focused on achieving one thing for the week, which is achieving the A&E target. And obviously that's not something you can sustain forever. You can't take everybody out and all do one thing. But what it does help them do is several things. One is it raises morale because everyone's focusing on the same thing. Secondly, it helps them to see what makes a difference. And then you focus on those things. So if having a runner on the ward, it makes the difference between sending somebody home before midday or not, and that makes the difference about whether you have a breach or not, then they know that the thing they need to change is having a runner on the ward, and they've then got something that they can do going forward and make that change happen. So that's, the theory of where this comes from is that if we all focus on the same thing, it's not sustainable, we can't do this forever, but we should each be able to identify, a few things that if we change those things, it will make that big difference to us overall. And I really like the phrase breaking a cycle because it's really explicit that the purpose of what we're doing is to make things change. It's not about carrying on doing the same thing, it's saying let's stop, challenge it and do something different going forward. And there are two things that I want us to do differently this week. So the first thing is prioritising. We need to be really clear what our priorities are for 2015-16. There's some work being done, and some of you have contributed to this by Will and James pulling together a central projects register. And at last count, we've got 195 projects on the project register across the 5 CCGs. Now, I think that's too many. I'm not sure that I can keep an eye on 195 projects, and I'm sure that you haven't got time to be working on them all. So we do need to look and say, actually, are all of those things really critical? Are they the things that are going to make a difference to our patients? If we focus on this one and actually let that one slip to next year, is that going to be the end of the world? So we need to go through that process of really challenging what we're doing and why we're doing it. So by the end of the week, I want to have a clear list of our objectives for 15-16. And I want to really, for each CCG, have no more than 5 or 6 top priority things that we focus on. And obviously, ideally, we will do more, and ideally, we try and do everything. But prioritising is about making a choice. It's about saying, you know, if I haven't got much time, do I choose to do this thing here or that thing there? And if we're all really clear about what those top priorities are, and you have to choose where you spend your time, then people will choose to do the right thing, and we'll all choose to do the same things. And then hopefully we'll actually get those things delivered. I would rather do 5 things really, really well than 100 things that none of them quite happen. Okay, so that's the first thing that I think we want to achieve this week. And the second thing, as I've been talking about quite a lot, is about challenging the way we're working at the moment. You know, so why do we have that meeting? Why is it for 2 hours? Couldn't we do it in an hour? Is there a way that we're doing something at the moment, a process we're using that isn't very efficient? And if we redesign that process, we could save ourselves a day a month or something. I mean, often in places like finance and informatics, you know, rewriting a process can have that much impact. Why are we doing things 5 times when we could do it once? Are we really using our collaborative power as well as we could do? Because often we're not. And I think now we've been here for 2 years and we kind of get to know each other better, and I think there's a lot more trust in the organisation than there was 2 years ago, but some of the things we're doing, we're still doing as if it was 2 years ago, and I think we can move that on. We're laughing here, it's not a laughing matter in Hounslow, I'll tell you that. I think there are still reports that some people are producing on a monthly basis that were being produced in the PCTs, and we haven't actually said, do we still need that in the CCG, or do we still need it produced in that way at that period of time? So, you know, think about everything you're doing and ask yourself, why am I doing it? Who's the audience? Is it what they want? Go and have a chat with them, say, is it what you want? And have those conversations, because we may be able to create a lot of time for people just by saying, okay, we're not going to do that anymore, it's not adding that value. And think, you know, what's the one thing that would make my job easier? I bet for everybody, you could sit down and think, well, actually, if I just change this one thing, or if somebody else helped me by doing that, then I could make my life easier. So really think about what that is and how we might make that happen. So my challenge to you is that by the end of today, I want you each to think about what the one thing is that you are going to commit to doing differently, and that you're going to spend time this week making it different, so that by the end of the week, you've achieved that thing, and you have worked out how you're going to do it differently going forward. And I've been thinking about that for myself, and what would that thing for me be. And I think the thing that I am committing to you that I will change is how I communicate with all of you. I've been conscious since I started this job that I don't speak to people as much as I should do. I've set up open sessions for people to come and talk to me, but I haven't got a weekly blog or, you know, some regular form of communication where I'm letting you know what's going on and coming out and talking to people, and I don't get round the floors as often as I would like to do and talk to people. So that's what I'm going to focus on this week, is how I can change that. And what I want to hear from all of you is what you would like me to be doing. How do you want me to be communicating with you? So at the back of the room, there's some pieces of paper up on the wall. So during the week, you know, write on some post-its or whatever, stick them up there, or write on the paper, and tell me what it is that you want me to be doing differently. And I will commit to making that happen. And you'll all know if I've made it work or not, because you'll either get me communicating or you won't. So it's quite a visible one for me to be doing. And we'll do the same thing in Hounslow and Ealing. We'll get some paper up for people to contribute their ideas. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and I want each of you to think about what that one thing is that you're going to be doing too. Right, so it's your turn to do some work again. Another quick exercise. So again, take 5 minutes speaking to somebody near you, and just check that you really understand what it is that we're doing this week. What's the purpose of the week, and whether it matches what you were hoping this week was going to be about, or were you expecting something completely different, or got different ideas that you want to feed back. So 5 minutes for a quick chat about that, please.